And we are live. I don't know if Joe is with us now or
Yeah.
not.
If you can hear
Oh,
us, then yes, I am with you. If not, then it might be a one-man show as if.
I could not hear a bloody thing.
So, is it a one-man show today then? Should I just let you do it, or what do you want to do?
Maybe I don't know. Have you got somewhere else in your house where the connection is better?
No, no.
It's like you're Mr. Robot on my end at least.
Well, it's your choice. Do you want us to leave, or do you want to do a one, or do you want to just try?
Your voice is all messed up.
Right, guess the one-man show. Then I will leave you to it.
Maybe just try to restart the modem or something.
No,
And
I'll
we're
just leave.
going.
I'll let you do it yourself today. It's calm.
I You're just going. Oh, well, welcome to Founders Chat show. We were going to talk about founder burnout today. We've got lots of other great, amazing topics as well to discuss, but just got some problems. So, my question is, does anyone want to join me on stage? Diego, do you want to come up maybe? I'm not going anywhere, but I hate talking to myself, guys. I'm not I'm not that important and that self-centered to just talk to myself for an hour. So, does anyone want to join as well? Oh, Joe is maybe back. I cannot post a link.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
perfectly fine. I think it's you. I think it's you.
oh, you're back. You're fine now. You're normal.
I was normal on the stream. I left and watched this like delayed stream on my phone. You can hear me perfectly fine on there. I think it was you because you can hear us on the stream.
Oh, maybe it was StreamYard or something.
No, only you could hear. So wait, let's just go on the first topic then. Or actually, you know what? We'll start like we did last week. I've got something that's been annoying us, so I guess we'll start here. One thing that really does annoy me, just about general business stuff, is I'm so sick of this sales language everyone just communicates with. Like curious to know if you're finding X, or curious to know if this is your situation. I am so sick of that one word this week. I've heard it so many times. It's like everyone in DMs or cold email have the same copy pasted script, and it's curious to know if you're suffering from common pain point. And I'm so sick of it.
Some guy, you just gotta look on YouTube and see who posted a big video, lead gen video that exploded, or TikTok or something. See, Formosi sent a new template.
I'm, I'm I've had out 6 or 7 cool DMs this week with the exact same similar structure, and it's exhausting because they all, you know what? No, I won't. I was going to share my screen and show the 6 or 7 people, but I'm not going to put them on blast like that. But it's exhausting, is what it is, man. Just have a. This brings us back to the founder street thing. I know I could share my screen and show some of my conversations there, but some people just don't know how to network or have a human conversation anymore. I've
Yeah.
created a nice like on Founder Street. Look at their profile. Create like a nice like dating app style opener. So it's like open. They can answer however they want. Then no one just asks a question back. Like, isn't that what networking is? You're supposed to ask a question, then you ask, and we're getting to know more about each other and more about our business's personality. But a lot of people, if you ask them a question, they just answer it and just leave the conversation to die. Like, surely that's not networking.
They just follow the legit templates, right?
Oh, it's just doing my nutting. If you say you want to network,
Yeah.
that's why you're on Found. If you want to network and you're on Founder Street, surely you should know how to have a conversation. Like, shouldn't that be an important thing?
Yeah, we're changing a lot of stuff on
Maybe you need like
on
some
that.
sort of training. Maybe you need some sort of like training module where you can teach people how to have a human conversation. That might help.
I think in general, right, it's just how people act if they just do outreach. Um, for us on Founders we're making a couple of updates in the next sort of 6 weeks. I think you've seen on the WhatsApp group update. So first
Hmm.
thing, we're making message a requirement to send with the connection request. So you'll see if it's like a copy paste message, you don't have to even accept. And we're
Hmm.
changing a lot of the profiles to actually make it. Oh, and sending a message will use a credit, so you can't
Oh,
just
okay.
spam, right? Um,
Hmm.
so we hope that at least on Founders Tree, well, on LinkedIn, you can do shit about that. People can send
No.
as many DMs as they want, as many
Is
messages as they
that
want.
I'm going through the bad DMs now to find like similar things in the script. The other really common thing that like most of the 7 DMs I'm talking about are they just caps random words in each of the paragraphs to draw attention to that specific point. Like why are you creating like a 4 line paragraph with 3 rogue words in all caps? Like it just makes it like a dickhead. What are you doing? And then, oh my god, the GIF follow up. Like, if when you just stop replying because the conversation's dead, they reply some cringe GIF that worked. Like, I used to do this like 2 years ago and actually got responses. So it's almost like the course these guys have bought or the lead magnet they've consumed are about what worked 2 years ago. Because it's so bad, man.
Ugh. Anything to
And
break the
it's the
pattern, right?
And it's the last question. It's the last question in these DMs. Like when they're trying to pitch their service, they're asking open-ended sales question, like to make it feel like I'm making the decision to empower me and all that sort of all that sort of like year 11 psychology. It's I hate it. It's so cringe. But so yeah, all this sales language and this one specific lead magnet has really annoyed me this week. So maybe this is how we should start the show every week. Something that just annoyed us.
Well, I think it flows nicely, right? Because we were going to talk about burnout, so
Yeah, honestly, like I don't get burned. I don't think I burn myself out. I think other people burn me out. Like other people doing stupid stuff or doing stuff that directly piss me off is what burns me out. When I say to myself and told people I like approach businesses that I want to work with that fit like my style and my personality, I don't get burnt out. But when I'm infected with other people who I just dislike, that's when I get burnt out.
but that's the part of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's a strange topic. Like so many people just talk, oh yeah, it's just if you love what you do, it's fine. But the thing is, in business, like you, hey Jim, how are you doing? Do you want to join us on stage, by the way? Just let me know. I can drop you a DM with the link. Um,
So I've just seen the comments now. I was too engrossed in my rant, but some of these are funny. This is the lingo. Cool emails about it. Two heavy hitters. Yeah, I just you catch us in a good mood, and I can just shoot from the hip.
but yeah, it's one of those topics where people just say, "Oh, just do what you love,"
Oh no, that's bullshit.
or
Like
ask.
I love boxing. Like I love boxing for an example. But last summer I fought 3 times in 6 weeks against 3 undefeated fighters. Like by the time that last fight was done, like I was throwing after I'd won the third one because I'd won all three. That's just who I am, a bad man. But the end of that third fight, I was literally throwing up into my mate's pint glass because he was drinking, coming to watch his fight. I was throwing up into it because my body just couldn't hack it. And I love boxing. So if you just do what you love every day, you can still burn yourself out just accidentally.
Yeah. So where I was going with that, I said, um, many people just like try to sell those cures and formulas, but I don't think there's anything that fits a specific person.
Okay.
From my point of view, like it's not about, yeah, doing what you love and what you enjoy, and that helps. That helps. But there's more to it. The other things that I notice is people often burn out from a couple of different things, and one of them is, well, they might enjoy what they're doing, but in business, there will always be other things that you have to deal with as well. So you might enjoy your job, your work, your business, right? But what about the other elements? What about sales, marketing, right? I know
Mm-hmm.
last year I was just burning out from LinkedIn. Like, well, I love chatting to founders, solving problems, right? But I didn't want to send fucking 30 DMs a day,
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of
right?
people
And
like get burnt out
that
from.
part was pissing me
I know a
off.
lot of people get burnt
Even
out.
when
A
I
lot of
was
people.
getting clients and closing sales and making money, I'm just like, I just don't want to be in this game.
You just hate the game, yeah. 'Cause, like you like the result, but LinkedIn is the like you want the result, but LinkedIn is like the boxing fight. You want to win, but you don't like the actual fighting.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
So he has a
how it
good
could be, but it's
question.
about the
How?
environment. So what I'm saying is it could be the environment
Oh
that's
yeah,
just pissing me off.
definitely.
Like being in Sheffield, right? Last year for me, it's fucking cold. You're working hard on your business, you're hustling, and then it's cold every day, it's dark, weather is shit, um, and it's affecting you, right? We've got Diego coming up on stage. Hey, Diego, you are
Hello,
on,
guys.
mate. How
How's
are
everything
you?
going?
Yo, man, what's up?
Doing fine, thank you.
Okay, so let's.
Same old. Contacting people. Go ahead, go
Have
ahead.
you got any burnout?
I was going to ask the good. I thought a good question for burnout was describe when you've been burnt out and say how you overcame that, or what was your strategy to becoming non-burnt out.
My friend, there is a friend of mine, Sarah Yui, says that one of the most beautiful things in sales is that it's a wild roller coaster. Once you are burned out and you go for another prospect, and that prospect says yes, that is an absolute peak of adrenaline, my friend. But you have to keep going. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes in this, the lows are really low, but the highs are high also. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep going. Sometimes you will need like to Josh Brown, a person that I respect a lot, says that you have to separate your days like in quarters, like morning, middle morning, and afternoon and late afternoon, and try to think of those like in quarters, and just go and contact your prospects and try to set up some meetings with them and try to close the deals. And if you can't, just forgive yourself, sorry, and keep going. It's the only thing that you can. If you're like me, I have a strong faith, Catholic, and I have a strong faith, and that helps me. But I know that is not for everyone. So if you want a very practical tip for that, just keep going, my friend. Even if you think that you are sad, or just keep going. uh, Rest if you have to. Give yourself a 30 minutes to go out and walk on the street, but keep going because you don't know when the next client will come. Okay, and believe me that once you have landed that client, all the burnout is going away through the window, and that is the part of the game. I know that sometimes, for example, right now I have like 20 cold pitches in my inbox, but that is part of the game. Sometimes I try to switch that pitch to see if I can offer them services for the calling, and even that works sometimes. So yeah,
I do that
to
all the time.
summarize, it's just like uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, you have to. I remember that when I was studying in 2022, because I let me tell you a little story. I'm a veterinarian and I work for pharmaceutical industry in Latin America for 14 years with different pharmaceutical companies, like 5 or 6 pharmaceutical companies, and I always have to, mm, or I always end up working in marketing, revising, reviewing, and writing copy for the websites and copy for all the sales sheets and the battle cards and the sale and the call scripts. I never knew that it was a job by itself. That you sell, and I was terrified at first because English is my second language and blah blah blah. But I found out that it was painful. But later I found out that you only have to have believe in yourself and know that, or you have to know that your copy sells, and just go. Eventually, you will find someone. There will be a lot of no's. People like
Getting out
if we are
and
in sales. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
can hear them. I can hear them, Alex. I think it's
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
when it comes to cutting
I can
out.
hear. I was just saying it. No, no. I said it can be hard, right? Because Diego
Ah, so
said,
it
"Oh
was
yeah,
cutting
just
out.
believe in yourself, just keep going." But it's sometimes not that easy, right? And it's not always about or just knowing that sales and business is gonna be okay. There's so many other problems. Like I work with a couple of people last year that were getting sales. The business was growing, but so many other things were falling apart internally, right? They started growing, they started hiring, people couldn't do their job, people were quitting left and right, and now you have clients, you cannot serve those clients because you cannot keep up with their workload, and you start working like 100+ hours a week, and that's fucking stressful. Um,
I know.
so there's
So
always like
talk
more to the
about
I
story,
remember that.
right?
so Alex, talk either about a time you were burnt out and how you got at that point and how you recovered, or talk about someone you were referring to there and tell their story.
I've just got so many stories, and they're very, very different, but yeah, I
Choose
think,
the most
there's
interesting.
I think for
I
me
remember that.
personally, sorry, go on, Diego.
I remember that you wrote a post like last year in December, some that you found how that talking with someone in a bar, just telling them about your actual challenges in the business will help you. They don't have to tell you anything. They don't have to give you recommendations for anything. Just go there and talk with your friend. That will help you. I think that also. I also think that could help, but in the end, we have to grind. Yes, as I told you before, you can rest, you can go and charge your batteries, but you have to keep going. We have to. There is no other way.
You have to solve the problem eventually, right? But yeah, what you've mentioned there, what I said is that sometimes just talking about this and sharing this, like men are very bad at this. women do it very well, right? They're good at just talking and letting things out and having conversations. Men are not very good at actually sharing and talking. So sometimes if you just talk about this stuff, it helps you like process things internally, and just like some just having a whinge. That's all it takes to just like, okay, yeah, I see, I got this now, right? A very big problem is when people just like keep everything inside. They're just struggling, stressing out, and they keep trying to do things. They keep trying, they keep going, but it's tough. So one bit of advice I've got for anyone is, surround yourself with people who give a shit and with people who can help. And sometimes just pick up the phone and have a whinge.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
can massively
yeah.
help.
I know.
So
I do that all the time.
I'm bringing back what I said earlier. Tell me about the last time you were burnt out, what led to it, and how you recovered. Because that's the interesting story, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I think for me, like I always go through stages, and like what I found with business, if you're trying to be, it's about, and I've actually got a quote, one of the talking points and the articles that we've got in a bit. If you're ambitious, you will always run across those peaks and those challenges, which can become super stressful. And it's easy to cross that threshold and start, focusing on the wrong thing and burning out. If you always like focus on growing more, doing more. Um, and that's what I felt like it was for me at the start of last year. Number one, I was just like, I'm talking to too many people all the time, having too many conversations, the whole, being on LinkedIn, being in the communities, talking to 100+ people every single month. And at the same time, working with sometimes 8 clients at the same time. And sometimes I was doing like more hands-on work with them as well. It wasn't like a quick job, or it's just an hour's work. Like no one like sit down and grind for 6 hours on this one thing. So a client could take a whole day, and at the same time you still have to keep up the marketing and everything. You can't take your foot off the gas. You have to keep going. So for me, it was a case of just like more of a LinkedIn and outreach and sales burnout, trying to always do more. But then I just found out like I wasn't happy where I was. Not necessarily about like the money and business, but just the environment. And that's why I decided to like, go away, go for a trip and reset a bit. And I went a bit drastic on that because I pulled off my website, my funnels, everything, just switched off completely, went offline, dark, for quite a few months. I didn't have to do that, but I just felt like, you know what, it's time I go and travel a bit, rather than just work, and yeah, you can make some time for yourself, whether it's like, sometime in the morning, you can go gym, do stuff, but I just felt like something else was missing. So that's one thing, right? That's just said about your environment and your goals. I think it's a big part of it is a lot of people don't know what their goal is as well. And if you
I
don't see
haven't
that
reached.
end, that you're making progress towards that goal, a lot of people initially just when they start, they just think, oh, I just want more money, but money is never the goal. For most people, at least, it isn't, right? it's usually like some kind of lifestyle or something else. And I want to pull one of the articles. Here we've got actually two opposing points of view here, and one of them was from Entrepreneur Loop, which is a magazine. They said that the hustle culture of the last decade is slowly being replaced nowadays by freedom as the key KPI. So people are actually focusing.
There's a simple reason for that, though, especially in like the Western countries. It's because people used to want to work all those extra hours, be able to buy a house, to be able to hopefully put enough money into a pension to retire early. But now, if you go and work a traditional job, like unless you're in a relationship, you will never buy a house realistically. Starting like if you're 18 today and you're going to work a corporate job for the next decade, you still won't be able to buy a house unless you live with your parents for that entire decade. Like it's just not going to happen. So that's why people have decided to prioritize their life, because they're never going to get the benefits of burning themselves out to get a house. It's just not going to happen.
I think that's one side of it, but it's the same for business. I've seen more and more people, and even I spoke last year to a lot of people with like super established businesses, and a lot of are just like scaling down rather than scaling up.
Well, that's me as well. At this point in my life, while I'm still fighting as regularly as I am, I don't want a massive business. Maybe I want a massive business in a couple of years, but right now, I've got other things in my life that I care about rather than just being business, business, business.
Exactly, right. And a lot of people are realizing that, especially younger people nowadays, they're not anymore about just, oh yeah, just become a millionaire, become rich. They're like, well, okay, I'm gonna spend my next 15 years building that, but I've lost 15 years of my life. That was my realization last year. Like I worked my entire life non-stop since I was like 13 till my mid-30s. I just worked. I never took any time off. I was
Yeah,
like, what the fuck am I doing? Like 15 years of my life have just gone, and I've barely been anywhere or seen anything.
it's like I can run a business at 40, but I can't fight at a good standard at 40 years old. My body will have aged. It won't be as quick. I won't be as light on my feet. I won't hit as hard. It's just not possible. So you've only got a specific time frame for me anyway to fight at a good level. But I can run a business in 15 years and be perfectly fine.
Yeah, so it's one of the trends that's showing like people mostly optimize freedom rather than success, especially the smaller businesses. Obviously, it's not the case for everyone. But yeah, many solo founders or even smaller businesses. I spoke to a agency owner, very super successful agency, working with some of the biggest brands. We're talking contracts in hundreds of thousands. These are not your guys that charge $1,000 or a couple of K. These are the guys that charge 100 grand per project plus, sometimes more, and work with large companies. And they said like, okay, well, the only way for us to grow now is to just hire more people and start expanding the company. But he say, I don't want that. I don't want 50 people to manage. I don't want a 50-person company. I want my 60. And maybe go into like another revenue stream that's more like automated. But like we don't want to grind more. We're already busy.
Especially,
Success.
I mean, we mentioned
don't
it
want
last
to just
week,
grind
didn't
more.
we? You mentioned the tax
Sweet.
thing in the UK, especially. We mentioned the tax thing in the UK last week. But when you get past a certain revenue, it's kind of like, well, 60%.
Yeah, in UK, if you go over 100 grand, 100,000 pounds, if you want to take any of that money out, you're getting effectively taxed 60%. So you barely see any of that money anyway. So it's like adding extra hours, or adding another 100 grand, going from 100 to 200, in terms of lifestyle, doesn't really offer that much of a change. You can't really, like, you still don't have enough to outsource your business and quit. You don't have enough to exit. Your lifestyle hasn't really changed that much. Like, you can buy some nicer stuff now or put extra 20 grand in your stocks or pension a year, but like, that's it. Like, your life doesn't dramatically change, because for that next level up, you will have to go from like, okay, if you go from 100 to like 1 million, now your lifestyle changes, right? Completely. But
I remember hearing a business, speaking of business when I was in Dubai, ironically. But I'll never forget what he said. It was really funny. He was like, one Ferrari at 30 is better than 50 Ferraris at 70. And I think that one little metaphor kind of sums up this whole debate almost. You'd rather have your fun when you're young, because you only got a set amount of time where your body's healthy enough to do all of that, to live life to the fullest, rather than being rich when you're 70. No one cares. You're going to die soon. And
yeah.
So building towards this dream retirement that doesn't really exist for our generation anymore, people realize it's a waste of time.
Yeah, and I know someone who's kind of been through that. Actually, someone I know personally, fairly close. They're now in their like late 50s, approaching 60, and they've been grinding their whole fucking life. And they've got a good pension pot, but like now he's sick, his body's fucked. It's like I don't have to work now, but but what? So yeah, I personally am not a fan of like pensions and retirement, and like if you're not enjoying your journey, it's just not good. But there is another side to that, and this is the opposing point of view here. On the other topic, whereas this one, the negative split framework, that's from Notion Capital and Startups Magazine. They released a study recently this week comparing the founder journey to marathon. And they found that 10% of founders work 80 plus hours a week, but they're not actually burning out, while some others working only 50 hours a week collapse from burnout.
No, I fully get that.
And they're saying the secret is not the hours. It's not about how many hours you work, but it's pacing yourself, but also going through like different phases.
The way I kind of look at it, like, I'll be honest, like especially my busy seasons, there will still be weeks where I'll work 60 hours. Especially like a busy season for me, like October. I'm rammed in October, so I'll happily just pull 240 hours that month, no stress. But then in a dead season like December, I'll work like less than 2 days a week and enjoy my life then. So I personally don't believe there's people out there working 80 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. But they might have to pull 80 hours for 3 of the 12 months of the year, and then have a different season where they pull a lot fewer hours.
Exactly. So this is the second part of the article I was getting to. What they're noticing, that some of those founders that are doing really well, they're loading up the workload initially, and they're setting everything up. So they're working like crazy at the start. And then they're getting ready for that scaling phase. So when they reach that point where they're like, okay, now we've got traction, we've got everything, right? We're starting scaling. We're going big now. They've got everything ready. They've got the base of the company. They've got the infrastructure that allows them to back off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you try to like, oh, let me just pace yourself, and you're slowly going, when you hit that phase, many people are just not ready.
Mm-hmm.
So they think, oh, I'm just gonna chill, I'll do it later, we've got time, I'm in it for the next 5 years. And they chill for the first year, and when they hit that point, when they actually like, fuck, now we're scaling, now we have to do stuff. They just it's a shock to the system and nothing is ready and the system is now crashing. So what allowed them to like be chill earlier, it just doesn't work anymore at that higher scale. And I've seen it a lot with like smaller agencies and businesses as well. They're like chill, but they don't have any SOPs, right? They don't have like good processes in place. The offers and everything might not be aligned. The marketing and sales process is a bit it's not like super reliable, but they're like, oh yeah, we're doing okay. But the moment they like get a couple of extra clients and have like 3 good months, everything comes crashing down. So they might be like, oh, I'm working with 4 clients, I'm doing okay, I'm chilling, and then a surge comes and they're like, oh, now I want more money, right? They get more money, they get a couple of contracts, and like they're just not ready for it. To go from that, 40, 50-hour week to that 80-hour week with unoptimized business, it just completely goes down. It goes up and it goes straight down because they cannot keep that pace anymore at that level. So they usually end up worse off after the break, after the fall, than they were before before in the first place. So it's a good point of sometimes maybe putting in more effort at the start and then having an easier time later. What do you guys think? So
I
John
definitely
T
agree.
said burnout is real at the start phase, the same issues, constant working, just hit those revenue goals. So eventually the burnout catches up to you, yeah?
No, yeah,
Sorry, go
it
on, John.
definitely does. But the way I've kind of got around it was what I was alluding to earlier. If you like, I know my busy season is going to be September, October, November. It's been like that every year since I've started. I know I'm going to have a big months mid-February till May. It's the half of the year I'm rammed, and then there's a few months where I'm chill. But I know in July nothing's going to happen. I know in December nothing's going to happen. I know the start of January is always slow. So you can do those 68 hours a week if you have to in your busy period because you know you're going to have a chill period right around the corner. It's if you look, I always love my sport metaphors and my boxing and my football metaphors, that sort of stuff. Footballers have an off-season break. Baseball players have an off-season break. You can't be 100% at your peak performance 100% of the time. But you need to make, in my opinion, you can make it so your peak performance is at the times of your busy seasons where it needs to be. And then you can take rest, you can take your breathers, take your down periods when you're not needed at that level. Personally, that's my opinion on it. I do believe you, especially the first couple of times you experience burnout. I do think that can just happen to anyone. But I think once you've been burnt out a good couple of times, you should be able to see the signs after that to stop yourself getting in that position again.
Yeah, I recognize that moment definitely. And actually, it's interesting because some of the talking points from that article some of the suggestions they mentioned, it's like having that kind of athletic mindset, actually. So like sometimes not even a season maybe, but treat your week like a training block. So include some like low intensity days to allow your brain to be like at that full performance.
What I personally
recover
do
as
is
well.
I look at my week like a fight. Like it's like a 4-round fight usually. Like every day and a half is a 4-round fight. But in a fight, you can lose a round and still win the fight. So you can take a few bad days and you take a few bad rounds and still win the week or win the fight. Very rarely you're going to pitch a 12-round shutout.
Yeah, so I normally have like, I used to like, I don't really switch off completely any of the days until I feel like now I recognize like, oh, I just need a break. I'm just gonna take a day out unless there's something critical. But I usually like load all my meetings and everything midweek. So my like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm packed. Right, I start at like 7 and I don't go out until midnight. I do like 14 hours easy on most of those days, apart from maybe going to the gym. So that's my like midweek. I just go hard. Usually on Saturday, I have like a half a day off. Friday is also busy, but it's a bit more like slowing down a bit, starting recovery. I don't do anything crazy on Friday. And then Saturday I usually have like half a day off in the morning, where I just like chill, you know, do some training, watch a podcast that I normally watch or some telly and just like switch the brain off. I don't think for like half a day.
One thing I've been doing this
And
year that's been
maybe
really
catch up on some more work in the evening if
yeah.
I'm not
What
going
I've
out
been
or
doing
doing
it
anything.
because when I was like auditing my 2025, I realized that there was some days where I would just waste so much time just being distracted. So what I've done this year is I normally start working at about 7 o'clock in the morning, usually because I'm just an early riser. I like getting up early. And then I'll just work until I'm pissed off. So usually that's about 1:30 in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I'll go and just box for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I'll come back at 4, half 4, and then I'll train. Then I'll come back from training about 4:30. I'll eat, and then I'll work from about 5 till 8. So in that day, my really busy days, I'll work from 7 until 1:30, 2 o'clock when I'm just pissed off and I need to get away from it. I'll go and train, have a great time, come back, clear head, and then just work until 8, half 8 in the evening. And that's worked so well for me this year. It just gets you, it keeps your brain optimized at all times. And on the days that I do it, I do that a good 2-3 times a week.
Yeah, most of the time I also during even those crazy days I usually just save some time for like a workout that just happens.
Because what I used to do last year, like especially on Boxing days, I would like box at 6 o'clock in the evening or something like that. So I'd be at my desk for like 10 plus hours that whole day, but my productivity levels would just go down. Like I might be great at 9 o'clock, but by the time I got a 3, I'm just exhausted and and my performance is dipped. Like I mess up sales calls if they were at that time, my quality of work wouldn't be as good. So now, as soon as I start getting pissed off at some of those sales messages I was talking about earlier, or my brain just stops working, I just go and train then. Then I come back and then just do nocturnal work, 5 till 8, usually 5:30 till 8, and then when no one's bothering us. And that's worked really well for me so far this year.
What about you, Diego? You've got any special tips apart from what you've mentioned earlier?
Guess not. I can't. No, I think he's frozen on my screen and his mic's muted.
That's the wrong thing, maybe. I can't but I'm not sure if I should.
No, just if he's put himself on mute, just he's back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. What's up?
Okay. Yeah, I think that basically, as summary, what you guys said, you need you, for example, if you can get a dog, because a dog will force you to
Can you hear me right on your end, Joe?
No, I can't. He's cutting out. So maybe let's move on to the next topic now.
out the grinding that you have to do, and also the gym. It's important to say also that you need people. I mean, you need people and you need a system that includes SOPs and the KPIs, because otherwise you just by yourself you're not going to make it. So
Oh, you're cutting off. Cutting off a bit, Diego.
Should we just move on to the next topic if it's going to be like this? Yeah, let's pick a topic, Alex. Or what was the other cool one? We had the
I want to follow up on this one a little bit just to finish off because yeah, I think there's some good tips as a summary. Diego, I think he's slowly back, but it's a good idea to have like those low intensity CT days to recover, or even like, yeah, just having days that are not like fully packed on back to back with meetings or anything like that, or any like high level decisions. Some days where we just do like, you know, chill work. Maybe something more creative, whatever doesn't stress you, just focusing on that. But also the community side, right? So having a strong support system, especially just like peers. So other people, other business owners, founders within your sector, you know, that you can surround yourself with, other people working on similar things, not just family, because many people feel like, oh, you know, support network is my family, my girlfriend, but no, you gotta talk to other people who understand what you're going through. With your family, your friends, your girlfriend, whatever, they're not gonna necessarily understand what you're actually going through. So being surrounded by people who do understand that massively helps. So it's a big, really good defense mechanism against this sort of thing. And Diego is back, sort of. But I don't know if we have anything else to talk about on this specific topic, if we should jump into some of the news. What do you think, Joe?
we've covered this way too much. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah, you've kind of gone through that stage as well, isn't it? A bit. You said you scaled down.
Yeah, I kind of just realized
there is a lot.
I was chatting to my boxing coach once, and he did a really bad analogy where he was like, the pints will be there forever, but you can only box to a good standard for so long. And I was like, you know what, that makes perfect sense. I can run a business when I'm 40 and be perfectly happy. I can go and live in Dubai and do that whole thing at any point, but you can only perform at a good level in the ring for a certain time. And I just realized business wasn't what I wanted at that point in my life, and that fighting was, at least at this point. There'll be a point in my life, I'm sure, where I'm not fighting and I'm going 100% in business, probably in my later 20s, and that'll be great. I'm sure I'll do great things, but I don't want to be there like 50 thinking, oh, what if I had a game fighting a really good go? So you get loads of cool memories from it and loads of good life experience. And that's, in my opinion, is more important than an extra few grand. You know what I mean?
Right, do you want to pick a topic?
We can either. I'm looking at the topic list now. I was I mean, the Trump thing is just mental. Like, Donald Trump has been running around like Don Corleone recently. He's actually running the United States like a mafia boss. He's trying to make people offers that they can't refuse, and then is just threatening with a hit if you don't listen. That's all ICE is. ICE are making these people an offer, and if you just refuse, you're gonna get hit, which is obviously mafia terms for death. And Trump trying to buy Greenland and then saying to all the European countries, "We'll smack you with massive tariffs if you don't support us." That is trying to make someone an offer they can't refuse. Because if you refuse, you're gonna get hit. That's all this stuff
Okay,
is.
say maybe you want to give people a bit of summary because they can't see what you're reading.
Oh, basically there's massive. Trump is basically saying to the European countries after the whole Greenland, after trying to buy Greenland from Denmark, if you don't support us, we're going to slap a 25% tariff on any of your trade involved in the US, which, especially for the UK, is like over half our trade. So it's a massive deal. It'll cost us billions. But he's basically doing what the Godfather would do in The Godfather, ironically, Michael or the Don. He's just making an offer people can't refuse. He knows what he wants. He wants the Greenland. And to get the support to do that, he's saying, we will take all of your money. So he's trying to remove the choice.
Yeah, but there's been studies on like the war game that you just can't win. There's no winners, right? In this sort of game. And one of the talking points is retaliation risk, right? What if EU retaliates and does the same to US, and global trade costs will just skyrocket across the board and just slow down growth across
It's insane.
2026?
But Donald Trump truly, and I mean truly when I do say this, doesn't give a fuck. He just doesn't care. I'm pretty sure because he's got all his billions, he's just like, let's run the US and have some fun, and let's just see what I can get away with. And because obviously I watched some like really good what's her name? I forgot the woman's name, but she's a really smart woman. And I was watching a video of hers, and she was basically saying there's been ties with Donald Trump to the mob since like the 80s. He ran his casinos like a mafia boss, so he's just running it's just on his personal brand. He's been running his businesses for 30 years like he was a gangster. So when he says he's going to run the US like a gangster, we can't be shocked when he does stuff like this. I mean, it's insane. It's totally insane what he's doing. It shouldn't be happening, but it is out of character. No, it's not.
Right there. So, yeah, the potential tariffs is a problem. We've already seen some small businesses and UK exporters having orders put on pause just from the threat alone, especially in the machinery, automotive, and luxury goods sectors.
Most likely, if Trump does this, it would most likely lead to the UK rejoining the EU. That's probably the most likely outcome.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You really don't think? I don't think, honestly, I don't think the UK would have a choice. Truly, we would be fucked financially if we didn't.
I don't think the government will let that happen.
Because this whole situation is basically like a mafia crime scene. So I'm just thinking, what would a Italian gang do in this situation? They would just try and kill him. So maybe there'll be another attempt on Trump's life. Or maybe the last one was one of these, and because they knew this was going to happen, God knows.
Since you two live in a country that is not part of the European Union, how does the Trumpism affects you guys? Because you are not part of the European Union.
It affects us more than the EU because a larger percentage of our trade deals with the US.
Yeah, they threaten tariffs both on UK and EU.
The whole situation's mental. Like The Godfather's the best book I've ever read. And when I saw him doing this, and I see his marketing material and his PR trying to spin it, I'm like, this is straight out of The Godfather.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Another topic that I thought was really interesting.
Sorry, go on, Diego.
The only thing that we can do is hope for the best. I don't know.
Oh, there's nothing we can do.
The only thing you can do is focus on what you can do, on your business and your plans.
There is nothing I can do that would make Donald Trump go, you know what, let's not slap the UK with a 25% tariffs. There is nothing I can do, so I'm not going to concern myself with trying to stop it.
Did you guys hear me?
That's just... No, you...
Stop that for a few seconds. You tried to say something and then...
Sorry. There is a lot of lagging. I was saying that the only thing that we can do is just hope for the best, because realistically speaking, the only one that can do
No, yeah, I agree with the message that you was trying to get across. There's nothing we can do, because Donald Trump does not care about me, some dickhead Geordie, comparing him to a mafia boss. He just doesn't. So the best thing we can do is move on to the next topic, which topic 12, the micro offers versus with macro energy. I think that's a really good topic. So why don't you describe that one?
That's a very interesting topic.
I've made a change in my own business that reflects this
change.
Let me
just read through it.
Interesting one.
Let me just read through it so everybody knows what we're talking about. There's recently been a major trend for solopreneurs, and talking about the death of the giant package. So instead of selling, £5,000-10,000 dollars, whatever, month-long, 2-month, 3-month-long projects, solo founders are finding recently a lot of success with micro offers. Small, high impact, fixed fee services like 90-minute brand audit or 2-day automation build. Like, I'll come in and I'll fix this thing in 1, 2, 3, maximum 5 days.
Yeah, that's what I do now. That's my
mentioned these are easier to sell, easier to deliver, and significantly reduce the proposal value. That often leads to burnout as well, where you're trying to get people on those big retainers or those, 6, 8, 10, 12-week projects, rather than I've got a problem, I need to fix it right now. Here you go, here's a solution.
What I really like, what I've personally done in my business is I've got like 2 offers now. There's the always on offer, which is the traditional long-term, long contract, big fee sort of stuff. Then I've got like the market presence build, which is like a few weeks, but we establish X, Y, and Z for 1/4 of the price of the massive big high ticket offer. And then if they love that first month when it's really cheap offer, quick wins, they can then advance on the always on stuff if they like it. And if they don't, they've parted with a significantly smaller amount of money just to try it out. And that's the way the direction the industry is going 100%, because people are so trust averse in terms of just dropping $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 deal size in one call or a few weeks. Just giving them it's not a free trial, but it's a really, really cheap trial where they can get quick wins and you can prove yourself to them. That's what I like. That I think that's a good trend, and that's something people should definitely adapt to.
Yeah, and it's much harder for a client to say no or ghost you on like £500, £1,000 versus like, oh, it's a $7,000 thing or $10,000 thing.
No, for real. I've noticed it massively in my business development. It makes it such an easier close because I'm like, if you hate this, after you don't have to commit anything long. It's like
You mentioned
it's
that
just
last year, actually, isn't it? We talked about that last year. When you mentioned that quick sell, right? On low ticket. So
I
yeah,
think the sweet spot with this is when the cheap offer leads into the expensive one either down the line or immediately. I think that's where the long-term successful business can come from this change in events. So, for example, the 90-minute brand strategy that you just mentioned is the low-ticket quick thing. If that maybe then leads to full website, PR, content calendar, social media content for your business down the line when you're ready, then that to make sense as a low ticket to a high ticket project sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't like if your only offer is like a 90-minute coaching session or something along those lines. I don't think that's a successful long-term business purely because you're going to need so many customers every month to make a good living for yourself that it's not 100% realistic if you don't then have something more expensive down the line that they can then invest in.
Then you also become known in your space as the person who can offer that quick fix.
I think
that was just one example.
I think it would only work if you've got like the LinkedIn influencer style following who do sell the consultations for an hour for like a few £100. Unless you have that bigger distribution channel, I don't think just a low ticket coaching offer is a scalable business long term. That's just my opinion.
So think about the dentist, right? Most of the time you go to the dentist for a quick fix, right? You don't come there and sign up for a full redo that's gonna take 6-12 months. You go there's like, I wanna in, and in 1 hour I wanna out.
But that's
and
not
that's all they do all day.
A dentistry is different to someone selling brand consultations. If you get your brand consulted on, you're not going to need that very often, realistically. While a dentist, you're going to know you have to go every year.
It's that principle of like fixing a very specific problem very, very quickly, right?
But so the target audience for a dentist,
people want nowadays quick results and strong results with like no fluff. They just want to get things quick, and it doesn't work for everything. Yes.
No, I agree with you in the sense that that's what buyers want. But I think I still stand by what I said in the sense that like something, if you're just selling 90-minute brand consultations, unless you have a huge distribution channel like a LinkedIn influencer or 100,000 social media following, it's not a long-term business that's scalable, but just because there's not enough customers to sustain it for years on end. A dentist, the target audience for a dentist is everyone in your immediate area who has teeth, which is every single person almost. While your target audience for doing some marketing or branding consultation is people who are marketing or branding in that specific niche. You know what I mean?
It's like really narrow-minded. Like you look at it just from lens of like, oh, we're just marketing agency, marketing services.
The example you gave was the branding consultations. That's the example I'm using.
Yeah, it was just one example, right? But the idea was like offer like a specific solution to a specific problem that can be done quickly without big attachment. So another good example is, or something I recently looked at is, if you're applying for funding, right? If you're a startup, you think about considering funding. In UK, you apply for the SEIS, which is like a tax. For those who don't know, SEIS is like a tax break for investors from the government if you apply for it. But the process can be a bit long, difficult. There's some legal paperwork that you need to sort out. And there's been platforms that sign you up for like annual retainers when they say like, we'll help you with this, and then we'll coach you, and then we'll manage your paperwork, and we'll get you on our platform. You just gotta pay whatever, this much per month. whereas I've seen another version of that kind of espresso offer model, whereas one of the companies, they only have one offer. All they do is they just say, we get your application approved in less than 7 days or something like that. And that's it. That's everything they sell. It costs $1.5 grand. They help you complete the application. They submit all the paperwork for you. They do all the legal stuff for it. And that's it. You're in and out. 5-day thing, $1.5 grand. They don't do anything else. And it works. And they're selling loads of these, right? Because it's like, if somebody needs this, it's an easy decision. It's just, okay, you guarantee me I'll get accepted. Thank you very much. Right? So it's not like the golden solution. I'm not saying everyone must do it.
No,
But there's been a rise of these recently.
Well, I adapted my business for that one specific thing, just because I personally, like, if I had to sign a 12-month contract or something, I would be so like anxious about even touching it because I don't know what I'm gonna be doing in 12 months. You know, it would make me feel uncomfortable. So I didn't really feel comfortable asking my clients to do something similar. But even now, the longest my longest contract is with a long-term client. And even then, that's only for the quarter. Just because I was like, I'll give you a good discount if you sign up for all of Q1. Like everything else is monthly. Just for their own. Mainly it's because it lowers anxiety on their end. They know they're not trapped in for something if they're going to hate it. So they can just leave if they give us, a bit of notice. It lowers the risk on their part. It's probably the best way of saying it. That's probably the overwhelming theme of this whole topic. In and out lowers the risk.
People have a bit of subscription burnout as well.
Oh yeah, do you know if because this whole subscription thing? Do you know if like a trial for a certain product or something like that, even if it's free and they ask my card details, I immediately just don't give it. Because I'm like, I will forget and I'm going to get charged because I'm subscribed to 1,000 different things.
That's why they do it.
Like that's why I legitimately refuse to like. I remember what I paid for. What did I buy? Oh yeah, I hired some work at the end of last year. It was like a 10-week thing. They tried to do a subscription thing where they sent the link over every week. And it was just direct debit, weekly payment. I was like, no, send me the invoice for the full 10 weeks and I'll pay it now. I'm not having me forgetting to cancel at the end of those 10 weeks. So send me a full invoice and I'll pay it. I'm not subscribing.
Yeah. I've had that thing as well. Yeah, hey Diego, welcome back again.
And the one other topic that I would like to talk about is 14. The human first video is the default because I'm so big on this right now.
Do you wanna give us a read through?
You know what? You normally do this, but I'll step in. So TLDR, faceless accounts were massive in like 2023, 2024. You could, clip farm, download a stream from a famous stream. I use some AI software, like cut up clips and just distribute them. And now, obviously, with like Grok AI and all these other AI forms, you can create a human face and it speaks to you. And people are now totally sick of all of this. And it's been linked to burnout. And now people want to reconnect with true humans almost. It's why I've started doing video content on my LinkedIn again. I didn't do it really last year because I was competing against AI slop on the LinkedIn feed and I was just getting swallowed up. But now it's started to perform well for me again. And I have a mic and I just speak into my camera. It's nothing deep or nothing complex. I just talk into it and it just makes people feel comfortable with you. So I think that is a direct thing that's changed and I like it. I'm assuming you like the change as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that trend, and that's why we're doing this, right? Because what we're doing here, it's one of those reasons why I said like there's just so much AI content, so much slop going on feeds. and I feel like, you know, being human is becoming one of the best trust builders for business, for solopreneurs and small businesses as well. And just being unpolished. That's why I say, like, no script, there's no editing here. We're just having a conversation and that's it. And you can't fake it. You can't fake it with AI. You can't put
I
a
posted
script like this.
I posted a LinkedIn video on my LinkedIn today, and I was just sat there with a mic, clipped to my collar, and I just spoke into my phone. It's not deep. It's well spoken, obviously, but it's just people. I'm personally my screen time has never been lower. My screen time is like 2 hours 25 minutes on average so far this year, because I'm spending less time than ever just doom scrolling on my phone because I am sick to death of the AI rubbish on Instagram, my Instagram feed, on my LinkedIn feed, on my TikTok feed. I truly just can't take any more of it. And so if I'm feeling that, I'm not special. Other people are feeling that as well. So that human little video touch makes such a big difference.
Because we're almost gone that circle. Like, you know, last year everybody was like, just replace all my marketing with AI, just have it write posts, send stuff, post ads automatically. But the thing is, that's the problem people didn't realize, and now is becoming, you know, if you were there at the beginning, great. But now what people don't realize is if
in
you
my
can
nine
do
to
it,
five job, I used, because there's not used to make like an extra like £125 a week just by clipping up podcasts and putting your face as YouTube Shorts account in like 2022. It was a little side hustle I did in my 9 to 5, just in the hours where nothing was happening. So you could used to make a bit of money from it. You could.
yeah, but it's not just that. It goes about like all of the AI stuff now. Because people are like, oh, you know, I don't need to spend any time. It's easy. Just press one click, generate a post, post it to 5 different platforms. But well, that's the thing. If you can do it, you're no longer special. You no longer have an advantage because everyone can do it. If everybody does it, there's no advantage. You're now competing with, you know, millions of people. You're no longer that one person out of, you know, thousands of tens of thousands that are ahead because you're pushing more content. Like everybody does it. There are now millions of people doing it. And you just become a part of that noise. And you no longer stand out with just a bit more volume. Volume doesn't help you stand out anymore. What you need is you need to actually stand out and build trust. So because of all the AI stuff being so polished and so perfect and optimized, what people are finding out is that just being unpolished and being human actually builds better results.
It's like AI is great. Like I know we were talking about it last week, but I do honestly, and I saw you leave a comment on someone's LinkedIn post about this actually, and they didn't take it very well. Like I do honestly believe AI will kill the generalist insert skill this year or at the very latest next year, just because not because AI is better, because the people would rather just use something that's £5 or £10 or whatever instead of paying 500 quid to £1,000 for something. But the brands that do choose to invest in human marketing, long term, that'll work so much better. But then that brings up what we spoke about last week also, that people can't think long term anymore, like in the UK, because tax is ridiculous and you get taxed on everything. So you need results now. So that's why it's such an interesting, place in business and in the world. Because like in the industries that I work in, like energy and like solar and all that sort of stuff now, it's the total opposite to, like cool industries like what you're doing. Because these guys have been in person forever and they're wasting thousands of pounds on events every month. Wow, so they want less human interaction because they're sick of wasting so much money on these events. That's why this sort of offering that I do works in these spaces.
Diego mentioned people are going more and more into offline as well, as we've discussed last week. people sending physical mail and all of that, and meeting people in person. And I think like we're gonna go more and more this year into that. People will switch into more smaller businesses, especially, and solopreneurs will switch more to offline, more to being human, more to being unpolished. And there's a good talking point here. You remember over the last couple of years, as like quality and accessibility of like editing software, cameras, microphones increased, and as like quality of videos on Instagram, on YouTube started going up and up and up, right? The Mr. Beastification of video, with like everything being like hyper produced and small channels pushing these amazing polished edited videos.
The 50
We're
cuts a
almost like
second
going
thing.
away from that, because people starting to notice like something over polished, super polished just seem like an advert now, like marketing company.
Oh, it's
So
like
people go
I
into
hate
just
you know when you go on like someone's website or something and the first thing you see is like a VSL with like 30 cuts every single minute. I can't watch them anymore.
yeah, and they got
I
the
just can't.
lighting, the studio, the fancy microphone, and
And
everything.
something just flash and everything just flashes up on the screen to like fuel the dopamine to keep you watching. I can't. I truly, I just can't watch that sort of content anymore. I mean, my screen time has done wonders. Like as I said, my screen time's at like 2.5 hours a day. That's nothing. Yeah, which is a really good screen time.
Yeah. And I've seen actually James Watt. James Watt is the founder of Brewdog.
Oh yeah.
Brewdog. He built a platform in the middle of last year. I think it's about 6 months-ish old. It's not that old, it's fairly new. He built a platform that allows normal people to advertise. So it's mostly for retail brands, but it's like, you bought a protein drink or something, you're a protein drink brand, not sponsored. And instead of going for like these fancy adverts, high-end editing, or like professional creators with all the fancy gear and super edited videos, what they're doing is they're actually letting anyone post an ad. So you can just you as a person can sign up to the platform and say, yeah, I've used this product, I've got something to say, and people just drop like basic phone videos, and then those companies use those as advertising, those unpolished opinions, reviews of somebody just talking to their phone with no script, no editing, no lighting, no studio microphones. They just pick up the phone and talk about whatever they're selling. Just
Not
those
for
super
real.
unpolished
Like as
rough
long as
reviews,
these,
and that seems to be taking off.
like as long as the videos aren't with truly horrible lighting, and as long as they don't have echo and stuff like that, as long as it's decent sound quality, some all right lighting, and you're good on camera, it doesn't matter what your production levels are realistically. I much prefer like some like when I rarely do scroll TikTok, the content that I like is just someone in front of like the green screen filter on TikTok where you can put a photo behind you. Just something like that, or in front of like a plain background, or in front of a bookshelf, or something like that. That's so much more interesting. That makes even though that person has probably thought out that video for 5-10 minutes, it makes me think, oh, they've seen X thing on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever or Instagram, and thought I've got a funny video to make about this. I like that feeling as a viewer. Like, do you know how I was talking about Trump and the Godfather thing earlier? Like, I had that stupid thought yesterday, so I made a TikTok about it. It's just kind of almost funny. One in the US like a mafia boss. It's funny, even though it's mental.
So yeah, everybody wanted AI advertising, AI posting, AI videos, but that's the thing. If you give people the power, humans always look for a shortcut, and if you
Mhm.
let, like, people will abuse the system, always will abuse the
Oh
system,
yeah, of
always try
course.
to hack it. So the thing is, like, most people think, oh, I can do this with AI, and now I'm gonna save, instead of spending, 15 hours writing content, now I'm gonna spend 30 minutes writing content. But what
No,
they're not
well,
realizing is people aren't spending 30 minutes now. They're not using that save time. They're just doing 15 times more
no, I
and
know it's
flooding
so bad.
everything.
I'll
So
give you another good example. I was talking to someone, it might have been yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday or Monday. And they do something similar to what I do, but in different industries. But they use AI 100% to make the target company lists. So they'll have a target list of like 800 companies. Now, and while I might only have a target list of 250, but I never let any company go on that list without my human eye. But they let AI do the whole thing. So they might have 3 times the companies, but they'll have less accurate, like perfectly accurate companies in their list because the AI did 100%. Well, AI maybe did 60, 70% of mine, but it doesn't get past the human eye.
yeah.
And it was pure, like their target company list was shockingly bad, but it looked better than mine because there was more of them. But in reality, none of them are really verified.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, people were like, "Oh, we're gonna save time. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have all this spare time." Like, no, because people don't know what else to do with that time, so they just end up doing more and more and
Mm-hmm.
more and more. Um, because that's how the system works. And I said this. I had that conversation with, I don't remember who it was. Earlier this week, I had this conversation that this is where this AI race is going. It's not about, like, saving time. It might seem like that to you, and maybe you will do that. But what everyone else will do it is they just gonna scale. They're just gonna
Mm-hmm.
scale and do 10 times the work, 20 times the work. Um, so whatever you do is now not enough. It's not gonna be acceptable because you're gonna keep up with what everyone else is doing. Um, so it's not exactly going where people thought it would, because people thought, oh, we're just gonna save time, we're gonna work less. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Like,
just
thing is,
gonna do more, do
AI
better.
is genuinely AI has bettered my life so much. Like that target company list, it used to get those 200, 250 great companies, it would probably take us now, an argument's sake, like 15 hours. But now it'll take us like 7, which is still like a lot of time, but it's half the quality product. It's got a quality result at the end of it. While most people now would be like, oh my God, let's get 700 companies in an hour. But none of those 700 are really verified because you've gotten lazy in terms of what you check. So you assume AI is perfect.
Oh, but then there will be also people who do, just double of what you're doing. So you saved 8 hours, they're gonna put 8 hours more to do the same quality of work.
Yeah, good for them. I hope their business scales, but I've got fights to win. So I spend that extra time training.
That's fine, but it does bring an impact, right? However we look at it.
No, of course it does.
Because now they're taking bigger piece of the market. They're adding more to the noise. They're quoting different results. So it's like, where does this race end? Because
I think
it
the I
doesn't.
think the I think the biggest change it's made is how it's changed buying behavior personally. Because in the sense that the 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there would have been a generalist marketer who could have done all these things for you, but they have to charge a human wage because they've got to live themselves. Well, now that human market has been replaced by insert your favorite AI content platform. Just because even though the result's worse in the buyer's mind, they're like, wait, I'm not an expert in marketing, I know nothing about marketing. But if I can get 50 pieces of content for £20, or I'm gonna pay this marketer £700 for 20 pieces, I'm gonna go with the cheap bad AI. But they don't know that it's bad. They've kind of been sold the dream because they don't know about the market.
I had an argument about Lovable as well earlier today.
I don't really know.
Someone
Tell us about that.
that.
Tell us about the lovable argument, because I'm not an expert on it, but from what I've seen, I've only tried it out once or twice, but from what I've seen, it's not great.
Well, the consensus across people who know about development, right? The consensus from people who know about development or people who spend some proper time working on it is that it's good for very basic stuff, and it's good as like a quick demo. Iterate, make a mock-up.
It's like the Framer AI template that everyone uses.
Yeah, it's good at just like iterating quick, doing very quick demos. Something that might have taken you 4 weeks, you can probably do in a couple of hours as a demo.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work for like production, for actual product. So
Is that what it's being marketed as?
If I try to build Founders Tree on Lovable, not only if I didn't have like the actual coding knowledge, which is my problem with what they promote. Oh, no knowledge needed. You don't need to know anything. Just talk to it, and everything's gonna be fine. What will probably happen is I would have burned through like £50,000 worth of credits.
Oh, you've got to buy credits? Is that how the business model works?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Every message uses some credits, right? Each time you ask for something, it uses credits. So not only I would have to probably spend like £50,000 worth of credits, I would probably still end up with like 80 or 90% unfinished product. It will be like 90% there, but it wouldn't really work because it's not good enough to make anything complex. It doesn't get it.
Yeah.
It will mess it up. So you need actual coding knowledge to use it. Because when it comes to anything complex, it's just not going to understand it. So that's one problem. Another problem is like it doesn't really understand the technical aspect and setup of development. So usually you have, I'm just learning about all of this as well, right? I'm not an expert, but it's not just like, oh, I'm just coding in this knowledge. You normally have like what they call a tech stack, right? So you might have like whatever platform, and that's managing the user interface. So what do you see? But then below that, there's another platform, another like interface that speaks to the front layer and the code and the database, right? So that's like in the middle, and that translates the database language to user language, right? And it moves the things around. And then you've got the backend layer with like all the database structures and things. So it's just not very good at making that work. It will throw something up, but it doesn't think like, oh, for this kind of product, I need to set it up in this way to be efficient, to be secure. So if you just, vibe code it and you have no idea what you're doing, you end up probably with a lot of tech debt. So, it might be unoptimized, it might work very slow, or it might break, or it might leak data so people can hack it, can access user data.
Does it have a lot of users? How is it?
Lovable?
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah. They went to like 15 billion or something.
Jesus.
I don't know. Lovable user count now. How many they got? Yeah, they got probably about 10 million people now using it.
Wow.
Yeah, and all that happened in like 6 months. Um, so yeah, it's big. It's big, but I don't like how they market it. I have nothing against the tool. I have nothing against the tool, and that was always my argument and what I said. But I can be direct, and people misunderstand it and get
No,
offended
yeah,
about it.
do you know what it is? It's a smiley face you do at the end of messages. That's what it is. Like, I don't know. I think that's what people like. I know you don't. I know you're just being nice, but people think, "Oh, you condescending dick." That's what I think. That's where I think the misdirect
It's
is.
fine. It is what it is, right? But I don't have. I think the product is a decent product.
But they market it almost. They market
as
it
long as you know,
unethically.
as long as you understand what its capabilities are and what its strengths are. And I believe it's being marketed to the wrong people and incorrectly, right?
So it's being marketed
And
towards
I
like someone who knows
I
nothing.
compared it in my comment, and people think I'm going overboard with this, but I don't think it is, because I compared it to almost like all the traders advertising, like, oh, I'm gonna teach you how to trade and make money on stock market. I compare it to that because most people, yes, you can make a lot of money in stock market. Yes, you can make money fast on stock market. You can, but most
Just
people
not.
don't. Most people don't, especially those people with no experience. Doing a course, the chances of someone with no knowledge of stock market doing a training course on stock market and making money is so tiny and so low that it's mostly just luck.
So it's like,
It comes
so
down to
lovable
luck.
is
It
like,
might be like 1 in 1,000 people will actually make some profit, and the other 999 gonna make break even at best. Most actually gonna lose money. Most.
so that's
I think the stats. If you sign up, to any actual trading platform, right, like stock trading platform, they always have a disclaimer that says, and last time I remember it says 97% of people lose money because they have to cover their legal assets. So it's a stock, trading has a risk. 97% of users lose money.
so it's kind
not
of
make.
so lovable. Like, you might make this amazing website with AI. Like, it's not impossible, but realistically, you're gonna end up wasting a lot of money with that credit system.
For websites and stuff, I think it's better for basic stuff. Because a website is usually like it's a couple of images and things, might have some functions, but if you try to build a real product, right? If you try to build lovable with lovable, you can't do it, right? That's my thing. If lovable is so good, why isn't fucking lovable using lovable? Why do they have a team of 50? Why do they have a team of 50 developers? Some earning like 200,000, 300,000 a year. Why are they spending? Why are they spending 500,000 a month or like 5-10 million a year on developers? If the app is so fucking good, why are they using their own product to build it?
Fair, true.
They're not using their own product because it's shit. It doesn't work like that.
So do people
It's being
stick up to it?
misadvertised. Huh?
So, so I'm guessing most of the users are relatively happy with it then?
I think it's just hype. Like everything, when it comes to if you promise people making money, right? It's like YouTube, right? YouTube is the same. Like if you promise people, if you promise broke people, because that's who they market to. They market it to people with no business experience, no development experience, no money. They they market it to people who are stuck in jobs or people who maybe want to think about learning coding but can't do it. They market it to people with no money, and they promise, oh, you're going to build this amazing product and make money.
Oh, okay.
Right? You don't have to pay for this software. You can just make your own software.
It's people who don't know about the better options.
People with no actual knowledge, right? That's the marketing. No skills required, no coding skills required. You don't need to know how to code. That's the biggest message of the marketing. You don't need any skills. Just chat to it, and it will do everything for you.
Okay. Interesting.
Right? But that's the problem. It's like, and there will be some people that succeed, right? But it's gonna be like percentage this tiny, and most of the time, what you're not realizing is those people actually probably selling you something, or they're just promoting their platform, right? So they're gonna say, "Oh, look, I built this product in Livable," but they're not actually talking about that. They're trying to sell the thing they built. And those few that succeed, most of the time they have business skills, they have coding skills. The percentage of people who build something with no skills and actually made profit is so tiny. It's like YouTube, right? For whatever many users YouTube has. I've done a research on this a while ago. Let's just quickly see if we can find this. Sorry, go on, talk for a bit, Joe.
I was gonna say, like, users or creators, because like a lot of people on YouTube make accounts not to watch anything. I mean, just to watch stuff and not create something.
Sorry?
So do you know how you were saying out of the YouTube users? I don't know if that's a great start, just because like 90% of YouTube's users will be just consumers who don't want to make anything.
Well, it's not true. Actually, most people signing to YouTube that are like creating something. I'm talking about people who want to actually create.
Oh, you mean
Not
creators?
people who
Okay.
just watch. Yeah. People who
So I
want to
thought
create on YouTube, most of them want to make money, right?
no,
Because
I
they've
thought
seen people who make money.
no, I thought you, because when you said users originally, so I was like, okay, users who use YouTube, most of them will just watch something, no, make something themselves.
Yeah. So, I mean, from what I can find, I can't find the exact data, to be honest, but
No, it's cool.
but I think it's so small.
Oh, it'll be like 98% they'll make a penny, obviously.
Jesus. Hold on.
It's fine.
There we go. So that's the thing. Like, people always look at the success, right? Oh, one person say they made a lot, and everybody's flooding to the platform. That's what happens with Lovable. Like, okay, they've got like 10 million users. Out of 10 million users, I think they said like 250,000 are actually paid users. So only a tiny percentage actually spend money. And out of this, maybe 1,000 actually made something. So it's like 0.01 or less, or 0.001%. And the same thing with YouTube. Like, out of there's more than 3 million channels that are, so there's how many now? There you go. There's almost 3 billion users, 3 billion accounts on YouTube. right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people actually try to make videos,
Yeah.
but only 3 million out of 3 billion, 3 million, right? So that's already 1 out of 1,000 have been eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. Now, just because they're eligible doesn't mean they're actually making money yet. It
No,
just
yeah,
means they
no.
hit a threshold. And out of that, right, to actually make good money, you need most need 100,000 to 1,000,000 subs, right? I mean, subs have changed. You don't need that many anymore, but looking at the old data, right? And that percentage is only 70,000 channels have more than 1,000,000 subs. 70,000 out of 3 million, and many of those are actually already successful people having multiple ones as well,
Mhm.
right? A lot of very successful creators have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 channels, right?
Well,
Mr.
I guess
Beast got 15
that's
channels.
that's the same as I guess it's the same as classic TV, classic cable television. There'd be I don't know 100 new shows every year, but 92 of them would be cancelled. You know, only 8 of 100 would get for a second season, renewed for a second season.
And the same thing goes for Lovable. They promise, all right, oh yeah, just do this, but the chances is the chances of you building a successful startup on Lovable with no coding skills is probably 1 in a million. But they promise it to everyone.
Well, I think that's probably the perfect place to leave this episode. I think this has been our best episode so far, to be honest. I've enjoyed all the topics this week. I thought we were going to mention ChatGPT and reducing ads. I thought that would have been one of the topics, but maybe we'll save that on next week. Sorry?
You mean driving AI driving sales?
No, because ChatGPT are
Introducing ads.
introducing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
thought that would
mean
have been one of the
it's
topics,
about
but
everywhere. I always said it's been there. It's going to come since day one because they're not making money. They're losing money. What a lot of people are not aware. So I'm just gonna say this to finish is
no, of course they are because they're
all
relying
of
on
those
premium users.
companies they're just burning money. They're not making anything. Most AI products aren't making any money. Most companies integrating AI are losing money as well. By doing so, only small percentage
Oh yeah,
actually
because
profit on it.
but they're not planning on profiting now. They're planning on getting the users and profiting later. It's a classic,
Yeah, but they
business
cap the
strategy.
market. They cap the market. They already have, such a huge, I don't know. I want to quickly, how many users on ChatGPT now? Nearly, there we go. Nearly 1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly 1 billion active users. So they're not gonna grow that much more in terms of market share.
No, obviously they've got to monetize.
Everybody's already using it.
This was their plan was to always get this many users and then monetize. So I don't think that's why I'm saying it's not necessarily fair to judge their money making now,
Yeah.
judge them at the end of their strategy because they knew it was going to take this amount of time to get users and then monetize. So let's judge it in 18 months' time when the rest of their strategy's finished. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because right now they're burning a lot of money, and even the paid tiers. That's what people don't know. It's not just the free users. People who are actually paying the subscription, even the high tier is $100, $200 a month.
Is it?
Right now, yeah, right now, even the $200 a month is not enough it costs them more to run it. So even if every single ChatGPT user paid them like 100, $200, they still wouldn't be making money. They'll still be
It'll be
negative,
worse.
which is crazy. It just shows like how much it costs them to actually run it.
Thing is, it probably is good enough to charge that price as well. It is a really good tool.
So here's the question: are they going to move into that, or are they just gonna put a ridiculous amount of ads, which puts the question back into: can you trust it now? Can
Do
you
you want
trust
my
it
honest?
because
Do you want my honest answer, which is probably quite a boring one? The owner of ChatGPT will sell it to some billionaire, cash out, and they'll be left with the problem, and they'll capitalistically
Microsoft already
monetize
owns
it.
Microsoft already owns it.
Oh yeah, sure. But that's what you. So I remember watching a video about Wish. Do you know Wish, the old website?
Yeah.
Wish, they used to sell like garbage stuff, but because
Oh,
it was
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
cheap, because it was so cheap, and like it was at one point in time they'd get like 10 million monthly users, and the owner of that rejected an offer from Jeff Bezos for like 10 billion because it was so popular, and they eventually ended up selling it for like 200 million like 10 years later because it lost all of their users to Shein and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. Like, they don't really have any sustainable model. And the thing is, can we trust it? Can we trust it if the only way to make them profitable, which they'll try at all costs, right? All of that money, they can't like print unlimited money by just the circle of investing into Nvidia, into Azure, and pumping valuation, circling around, exchanging money forever. They can't do that forever because right
I
now
think
the
they
whole
will,
evaluation is fake. They're not actually worth
because
it because they're not making any money. They're not making profit.
what the ads that they're saying they're bringing in isn't like search result ads. It's just like pop-ups on the side of the screen and stuff like that for now. But if it gets to the point where they're selling like search results as ads, then that's when it'll die. But
That's the question. So
I think
can you now trust it when you ask it to like, oh, tell me about this, and what it's gonna do is just gonna start serving you ads.
no, that's not when the ads come up. The ads they're bringing in are like in the corner of your screen. It'll be like some random pop up for I don't know Sky Sports.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
what
gonna be
the ads they're
random though.
bringing
It's
in.
gonna be based. It's gonna be based on what you asked it.
Oh, like your interest, but it's not gonna like I don't know. Say if I search something up, like I don't know,
Oh yeah,
tell
so
me the
they're
best
putting
boxing glove.
in the free tier. That's one thing. That's fine. But they're also gonna sell advertising, like Google, to appear in top of results.
No, that's not what they're bringing in now. That's not what they're bringing in
Yeah,
now.
but
That's
it's
something that they
coming.
might bring in the future. It might
But it's
be.
coming.
It might be. It might, but it
So
might
can you
not.
trust GPT? Can you trust it? Are people gonna then use it again?
Right now, yes, but maybe not in the future.
Because you're gonna ask it like, hey, suggest me some, CRM systems, and it's just gonna give you a bunch of paid results of whoever paid most for the click.
Well,
So
people
it's
still
no
use
longer to be,
Google.
it's no longer to be a research opinion.
People still use Google,
It's
mate.
just gonna
Mate,
be
people
whoever
still use
paid the
Google.
most is gonna show up in that article.
If what you're saying would be right, then Google would have died the second they brought in Google Ads.
Yeah, but Google has monopoly on ads, right? On
And you
that
could argue
and everything.
ChatGPT could get it the same.
And Google search kind of did die. We had that thing for a while last year and the year before in 2024. We've had that thing where they said Google search is unusable because the first page of the results was always ads. It did happen
Right,
for a while, and people were complaining a lot about it. And That's when they moved to Reddit. Everybody started moving to Reddit and YouTube, and they stopped using Google search. Right? And then Google bought Reddit.
Fuck, isn't that just
For that
Microsoft?
reason,
Microsoft
because
always
everybody moved over to Reddit to search for stuff. And
Microsoft
now
always
it was in our
wins.
earlier topic. Now people starting to use TikTok for search.
Oh, I
Instead
use
of going
TikTok
to
for
Google,
search.
people just search on TikTok.
I use TikTok for search. TikTok's search is great.
Because people want that connection. They want to learn from the opinion of a human rather than an algorithm.
Honestly, it's just because I'm too lazy to read. I'd rather just watch I'd rather watch a video. I'm too lazy to read a lot of the time. I'd rather someone tell us.
Yeah.
Right, should we call that a day?
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Huh?
See you next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sweet. See you next Wednesday.
Bye.